Awesome. Well, I feel like I know you already, but it's been a while since I've seen you. So catch me up. Update me. What's got you turned on right now?
It has been a while. So I guess the thing that's kind of turning me on a little bit right now is when I was traveling, I was on the road for like a month, and
Mhm.
we stopped randomly at this store in Eugene, Oregon. And it's sex positive, queer positive. Well, obviously sex positive, but it's a feminine, queer positive sex shop that I found there. I feel like an ass right now because like I can't think of the name of it, but it was pretty amazing. It's easy to find too on like Yelp or Google. But
Just
yeah,
look for the good one.
yeah, exactly. Like it's obvious. And anyway, I went in there and there was all these like gender affirming toys and clothes and kinky play materials and things like this, and everyone was super helpful in there. And so I was asked by one of the staff, have you ever tried using a strapless strap on?
Hmm.
A
Like a
strapless.
fieldo type situation.
Yes, exactly. And I have always been a pretty staunch anti-advocate of that because I just feel like having to sort of clench my Kegel muscles the whole time where I'm also trying to penetrate someone, like that seems like way too much going on at one time. But the proprietor of the shop was showing me this one, and it was pretty pricey, but the bulb that goes inside of you, and then it comes like a little hook, and there's a flat part right here that presses up against one's clit,
Mhm.
and then the dick comes off, and all three of those things vibrate, and you have a little remote, and you can like turn it up, turn it down, you can cycle through styles of vibration and all this. And I was like, I don't know, I'm still concerned about that bulb area. And they were like, well, you could always just use it with a harness. And I was like, now that's
Done
an
and
interesting
done.
idea. so
Yeah, I mean,
so
you want properly
um,
secured equipment. That
yeah,
part is important. I can appreciate that.
absolutely. And so I tried it with the harness, and I just turned on the vibration for all three sections. So the person I was penetrating was really enjoying the vibrations inside of them. And then I feel like the bulb part inside of me, that vibration was maybe a little unnecessary, but the part that presses up against my clit, I was very much enjoying.
That's magic.
And it is a little magical. So, there you go for all of those questions I'm constantly getting from people like, well, how do you get pleasure out of when you're doing a strap on? And I'm just like, so many ways and
Yeah, I was
reasons.
gonna say, where do you not, right? Like, you don't even
Yeah,
need the
exactly.
vibration, but if you can have it, so you
Exactly.
have it. Like, better to
Exactly.
have it.
Yes, I was just like, I do not need this, but like, I can't deny that it's definitely a good time. So,
Mhm.
I recommend going and finding that. And so, not just your typical fieldo or whatever. This is going to be like a higher end. Make sure it vibrates in all those places, and like, if you want to find one of those, it's a good
Yeah. Well,
time.
forgive me for trying to, like, force this into a teachable moment, but I feel like it's
Yeah.
worth, letting people know that if you feel kinda skeezed out by sex toy shops or in, like, making a purchase like that, it's maybe because you're not going to the right store, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely been to those, like, kinda shady, is it a sex toy store or is it really just a head shop with a couple of dildos in it? And,
Yes.
you know,
So
they
many of those.
there really are, and there's nothing wrong with that per se,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of people would be surprised at the professionalism, like sincere quality of service that you can get in a store like this. It's been a while
Absolutely.
since we've had anybody from Forbidden Fruit on the show, but they're
Mhm.
sort of our favorite local sex shop that has been around forever and ever, and super knowledgeable employees that are super happy to walk you through things at a job that can honestly kind of mark them in a lot of social stigma. And so these are folks
Totally.
that are doing it usually for a little bit of a love of the game.
Exactly. I agree. There's one of my favorite stores. There's one in LA, Chicago, and New York City. And that would be the Pleasure Chest. They also
Mm-hmm.
have a website where you buy anything online. But when you go into the store, I mean, immediately you're just like, this is a high-end store. And that doesn't necessarily mean everything in there is going to be like financially out of reach for you, but it does mean that the people that are in there, like, they don't just hire anyone. Like, they are people who know what they're talking about. They obviously are educated on all of like the materials and the toys and every single thing that they sell in there. They know what they're talking about, and they're just like completely open-minded. And
Hmm.
so to be in a space like that really encourages you to embrace that side of yourself and get kinky and have fun with it and not feel ashamed. There's no reason to, obviously. So
Yeah, and I can appreciate blushing a little bit at the price point. A lot
yeah,
of these toys, it can be very easy to be like, well, what do I even need that for? Like, we do just fine without it. And
yeah.
I guess I'll just remind people that like sex is allowed to be important. You're allowed to
Totally.
prioritize it.
Yes, and especially with like when you're with someone. I mean, sexual compatibility is people think, well, that part of it doesn't matter that much. There's all these other things, and like, yeah, there are all those other things, but also this is important too.
Right. Yeah.
You need to be compatible on some level, or it's just not really going to work.
Mm. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I guess just a good reminder to everybody, buy
Yeah,
some nice sex toys, not the ones labeled novelty use only. Go to
exactly.
a reputable store, talk to some
No.
good people.
Absolutely.
Well, and I know that I have mentioned this before, but I'm just going to go ahead and say again that what has had me excited all month, what I am just at a fever pitch for now, is the Bat Cruise coming up this weekend. I'm bummed that you're not going to make it down. I'm super
I
stoked
wish.
for it. Yeah. Well, anybody watching tonight, I'm sorry to say tickets are sold out. It's too late this year. Maybe put it on your calendar. Look for us next year. But whether you are going to go to on the Bat Cruise or not, if you are going to be nearby, we are going to have the library open for our live broadcast on Sunday. Library opens at noon. At 1 o'clock, we've got Johnny P and student Dr. Ben on Talk Heathen. That's going to be a great time. And then Matt and Jim on the Atheist Experience at 4:30. I think that the library is going to be absolutely packed. It was a blast last month when we opened the doors for the first time, but I think a lot more people are coming in for the Bat Cruise. This is going to be kind of like the biggest day of the year for the Atheist Community of Austin, for all of us to circle the wagons. And I'm just so stoked. And I hope that if you can at all make it this Sunday, August 28th, please roll through. We would love to meet you. We'd love to invite you to be a part of this community.